Today is part 4 of our series in the keys to successful retirement. And what we discussed today may sound somewhat contradictory to our first few parts. Cash flow is a key component to long-term success, and knowing that retirement could easily last 30 years is also important. But as with all things, balance and moderation are a key. Today, we're going to talk about the risk of not spending enough. Hello and welcome back to Wealth Wednesday. It is our bi-weekly show to help you make better decisions with money. If you'd like to catch up on past episodes, visit our YouTube channel. That's at Commonwealth Financial. And if you like what you see here, please like and subscribe to that. You can also find out more about us, the Ohio Valley's financial planning firm, on the World Wide Web, and that is cfswd.com. In the first part, we talked about overspending, and in part 4 of this series, we discussed the idea that your retirement could last for 30 years. And what we talk about today will seem like it's contradictory to the principles we talked about in those two shows. Do you run the risk of not spending enough? Let's welcome back Evan Brockmeyer to our show, a financial advisor here in Marietta. Evan, when we talk with our clients about their retirement, what message do we typically hear about what they want?
So the responses usually have a wide range, but the top one is probably going to be, do I have enough? The second one is, how do I minimize taxes? And then the third is usually going to be, how do I preserve this for others, next generation, et cetera. But what we see so often is that those who have more than enough, they live in retirement like they're going to run out. And quite honestly, I'm probably going to be just as guilty of that as anybody, because I have a similar mindset that I'm hardwired into. So please show me this video in 30 years. But I think there's a line, and I wouldn't even call it a fine line, between overspending and reasonable spending. And you can still live a really great life in retirement with reasonable spending. And that's kind of the focus of how our conversations go with our clients. Neil, we sometimes talk about this probability of success or failure, and that leads to more of a black and white type outcome, but it's not really that simple, right?
Yeah, it's all relative, right? So if you think of life as a journey and you're just like driving down an unknown dirt road, you come to this sign that says, is there a bridge out? The bridge out's ahead. And do you continue driving straight and drive right over the edge, or do you make a course correction? We've spent our entire lives making adjustments to our lifestyle. If we've had a bad year financially, we tighten our belts. If we had a big expense this year, we oftentimes will forego something else that we've had. If we've had a good year, maybe we do something a little more. Retirement's really not any different. And I think people have this mindset that when you start retirement and you start a spending plan, that it's so rigid that you can't make changes or course corrections as we go. We're going to have years where the investment results are terrific, and we're going to have years where the investment results are awful. And sometimes you can adjust to either side of that. So Evan, the probability of success or failure seems to take a more pessimistic and almost fear-inducing approach to the way we spend, but we probably need to be more open-minded about our definitions, don't we?
Yeah, and I like some of those trigger phrases. There's course corrections. I really like to use that, and you kind of gave me the illustration there of not driving off the cliff, right? And that's obviously our job, to stay as far away from that as possible. But the term that I like that we use and some of our clients have seen in when we have meetings is longevity risk. And I think that's a better way to frame it. It's more often than not, you have an opportunity to make those course corrections. Not always. I mean, there's going to be those catastrophic things that we can't predict, life events, that kind of thing. But majority of people along that retirement path have a course correction to make from a spending standpoint. And that's the biggest lever that can be pulled. So, and I think it's helpful to frame it this way. When we get into retirement, there's a finite amount of resources, but all the rest are unknowns. The unknown of how long you're going to be healthy, energetic, ready to travel, and how long that you're going to have to make that money last is another unknown. So we need to reframe this discussion from success, failure, plane crash the car, to how do we navigate these detours? How do we make slight changes to get that higher probability of success from a hard number standpoint? In terms of those course corrections, Neil, What do you believe is needed in that respect? For another analogy, you've talked about lab results. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So as we get older, we go to the doctor every year, and the doctor will have, during your annual physical, do blood work. And they're looking for certain things like cholesterol, glucose levels, kidney and liver function, all these things. And all that points to potential problems. And then they look at how those things interact with each other. And a lot of times those combinations point to increased risk. And then they lean on tons of research and data to help guide you as to what your health risks are in those cases. Some of the things that we're looking at is akin to the blood work. We look at the withdrawal rate, your investment allocation, your age, and we compare all of that to what we've seen in the past, what the data tells us. And we look at it from the framework that, yes, there's a problem potentially out there on the horizon, that you're increasing your risk. Doesn't mean that the heart attack's imminent by any stretch of the imagination, but it does show warning signs and allows you to make an informed decision to make changes if you need to adjust your spending, adjust your allocation, and do other things that might make a significant difference if things are going in a direction that we don't like to see. Evan, what are some final thoughts on this topic that you have?
Yeah, by no means do we suggest that you go out and blow it all, buy a yacht, give it away, any of that. But all of this speaks to my favorite part of this job, and that's showing you, the client, what the guardrails are. We won't be the final be all end all to say do this or else, but just empowering you to make the decision that will fit you best. And we're going to encourage you along the way to hopefully enjoy what you've saved so diligently for. But ask us those questions so that we can put the tools that we have to use and show you, what the potential impacts are. Let's have those conversations.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And it's something that we've seen way too many times. People fail to do some of the things that they maybe always wanted to. And we hate to see that, because you don't get that time back, right? You just have to sometimes live those experiences and take the kids on vacation or whatever the case may be. It's all got to be within reason and balance. But Evan, it's good stuff. Thanks for joining me today. And if you like this episode, please hit that thumbs up button. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you'd like to learn more about this or any of the other topics that we've covered, you can reach out to someone like Evan or myself at our website. That's cfswv.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.